types of things, you can kind of ignore those problems. But there is a lot of yellow in this game. Majority of the palette is yellow. And while it's not a big issue, kind of helps establish the atmosphere, it does kind of get repetitive, but I think it plays an important part in the type of environment. So, I mean, I kind of would get over it as soon as possible, but it does have a lot of yellow in it. Other than that, graphics can be hit or miss. A lot of environments are very nice looking, but some of them kind of get repetitive. And overall, the character models are 50-50. But now, sound and stuff like that, that's a completely different story. Jensen's character reminds me somewhat of Christian Bale's Batman and Neo, but unlike Neo, he actually has personality, and unlike Christian Bale, he can talk a little clearer than a bearer. So, I mean, it makes it a lot more interesting. And he is an excellent protagonist, and he doesn't follow the lines as well as most characters should, and it gives him kind of more of a depth and complex that you can't find in different games, especially for the main character, because if you're the main character in some other games, you're just naturally good. He can do bad things, and he can do things that can cause problems, and he can make bad choices, but it overall affects his personality, and you see a man that can be easily improved by machine technology, or you can see a man that gets cursed by the machine technology. He can become a wicked asshole, or he can be a hero. And you kind of choose that route, and while it's not kind of like an infamous route, so to say, it does give him a different complex, and it does create a different character that you can't see in most games, especially when they're all cookie cutter. So sound quality for this game is excellent, especially the brilliant soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing, and if they sold it, I would buy it. It's an excellent electronic mix of classical and ambient, and it's excellent. It's one of the best soundtracks of the year, so to say. Supporting characters, for the most part, are extremely well done. There are some problems. There are some kind of repetitive quotes and stuff from some of the other stock characters, but most of the supporting characters are excellent, and they kind of follow the story really well. And probably this is one of the best casts I've heard this year, so that's saying much. Playability, like I said, the controls are hit and miss. While you kind of have problems at the beginning, you'll eventually get into it, which is a lot. It takes a lot of time to, if you're especially stuck in the kind of the Call of Duty modification, but it does work, and once you get a hang of it, you will be able to achieve all the different styles, especially like stealth, and you will be able to do firefights if necessary. It does give you that option for most of the levels, if you want to go in silently or do you want to go in guns blazing, and it gives you a nice balance. So if you want to play both, you can play one level that does that, while you can do one level that is stealth. It makes the game more inviting, and it comes with a decent challenge. Now, I played this on the easiest level the first ring around, just so I can kind of like beat it, so I can kind of get the story gist of it first. But the easy version does hold its ground, especially with difficulty. It does not baby you, so it is interesting even for easy mode. It does give you a bit of a challenge. I will be excited to play the more difficult route later, but I do want to beat the game first before I do that. Overall, it does give you a challenge. There are a few AI difficulties, like sometimes you won't be detected when you're standing right in front of them, but that's very rare. Another problem I have with the game overall is, I know they try to incorporate something that kind of is old school, but I don't really see why it's in this, and it's the boss battles. There's a couple of boss battles that, from what I know and from what I played, that seem very unfitting for the game, and rightfully so. It's kind of strange because, I mean, you go in if you want to do stealth and stuff like that, and you go through all that process, and then you have to go through this boss battle, but you did this stealth and stuff like that, and it just kind of feels misplaced and misguided, and doesn't fit the genre really well. I mean, it might work for like some like really, really high science fiction type stuff like aliens and shit like that, but it doesn't work for this type of genre. It kind of feels like a cheap gimmick, and especially when you're trying to play for a story that seems very mature and very strong, and then you have this boss battle that seems kind of amateurish and kind of, you know, 1990s, to be quite honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the 1990s, I like the boss battles from the 1990s, I like all those types of games, but this game's had sort of a nostalgic value to them. They had kind of a cheesy story, and they kind of had not as much mature themes, because at the time it was kind of hard to do as mature themes, but the boss battles just seem kind of misplaced, especially for this game. Entertainment value overall, this game is a beautiful ride, both setting wise, the environment, the music, the cast is excellent. There are some bland textures, some bland graphics overall, but it works really well, unlike a lot of the games that come out nowadays. And the science fiction genre is kind of dying, and this breathes in a nice fresh air to it, and it does things, it incorporates certain ideas like something that Repo did and stuff like that, but it actually makes it strong, and it makes it mature, and it makes it reasonable and believable. And that's something that you can't get in those types of movies, or you can't get those in some certain games, especially for the sci-fi genre in the games. I know Mass Effect has a really mature subject matter, but this just is, it hits home, it has a philosophical depth to it, has a hard complexity, and it just overall it's a mature game. It's a smart game, it's intelligent overall, it's well rounded, it gives you the best of balances of everything, and it's awesome. I mean, what's more to say about that? And that's what makes a great game, so to say. This game overall, I would give a 9 out of 10. 10 being absolutely perfect. I do say that there's a lot of yellow in this game, and there are kind of bland textures, and some of the character models are outdated. But other than that, and besides that and the controls, I would say this is a near perfect game. If they fixed those things, got rid of the boss battles, especially. For what I know, I heard that Square Enix is actually is actually receiving the complaints between people that played this game and got angry about the boss battles. And from what I heard, they're actually kind of, actually sympathizing with the customers, which I find is really intelligent and really rational and mature of them to do. And for all I know, the next Deus Ex will actually, eradicate that sort of boss battle type thing, which some people might be upset about. But I say the more of gameplay, the less of boss battles, the better for this game. So story-wise, the story is vast, it is expansive, and it does take some time to beat. I've probably invested 9-10 hours in it, so it is a long game, especially for one disc, which I'm glad about, because I don't want a short-ass game. That's just straight to the point. This game does offer side quests and everything to look at. It is interactive, it's fun, and it's imaginative, and it's a